Weight Watchers now offers access to affordable GLP-1s.
Weight Watchers has everything I need, from weight loss medications to nutrition support and help with my side effects.
With our program, our members are losing more weight with expert nutrition and side effect support.
Weight Watchers prescribing GLP-1 medications. It's been life-changing.
Better results, expert support, lose more weight, make it last. Get started for as low as $25 at WeightWatchers.com.
All medications require eligibility and prescription. First month is low as $25 with a 12-month Med Plus plan. Does not include the cost of GLP-1 medications.
If you're lost, you can look, and you will find me time after time. In the words of Cyndi Lauper, today we're going to be doing some time traveling.
What exciting.
Welcome to Life in Jest.
I love the way you say welcome to Life in Jest.
Yeah, I was
To
about to
Life
say
in
this is Life in Jest, but then I switched it up on myself. So I'm like,
I liked it. It was very good.
thank you. So today we are going to do a short one because we have an exciting day ahead. We're going to the serial killer exhibition. Is it an exhibit? What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
In Manhattan. So that's where we have to go. We don't have time for you people. No,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We're going to have some interesting things to talk about next week, I'm sure, from this exhibit. But
We sure will. By the way, thank you for coming with me because I could not imagine who would want to do this with me.
well, I thought it would be good fodder for us.
Yes.
And
Well,
it is.
anyway.
I like murder. Oh, that's a weird thing
Oh
to
my
say.
God.
I'm
There's a
inter-
soundbite.
I'm interested in and fascinated by murder, but I really will say I'm more interested in the crimes of passion type of stuff. The
Mhm.
psychological when someone loves somebody and then kills them. See, serial killers are the opposite of that. They kind of don't have any feelings, at all.
That-
They
Yeah, I think that's why I'm interested. Crimes of passion, it's very clear what happened to me, because anybody who's ever been in a relationship with any other human being, I mean, obviously you're not going to go kill them. Oh, some of you might. I don't know you. But, like you can kind of see why someone gets to that place.
Mm.
Obviously, no normal person, sorry, once again, if this is you, no normal person is going to go to that extreme. Obviously, there's a problem, but the reasoning is more clear. It's the ones that don't have a clear reason and
Well-
are random to us, not to them usually, that freak me out. That I find interesting.
I mean, I find that, let's put it, serial killers definitely freak me out more. I'm not talking about freaking me out. I'm talking about investigating more about it, learning. I mean, serial killers totally freak me out more because they could happen to anybody.
Well, that's
not,
why I'm more interested in that.
No,
That's
because
the difference to
Yeah,
me.
but you see, when I say crime of passion, I don't mean it's not because somebody drove them to it. Mostly it's from money. It's some insurance policy or there's a
that
million
too.
things.
Yeah,
but
I could see that.
I just don't understand. I write all these love things and whatever, and I'm like, I just can't understand how you go from the altar to I'm going to kill you for the insurance. And it happens all the time.
Oh.
I get it. I'm always trying to study the cases to see. It's interesting individually to study each one, even though basically people suck, I guess is the answer.
They do. And don't get me wrong, those are interesting too. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason for anybody but the serial killer. They have whatever in their head. It's so random. That's
they
the part that I find so fascinating.
But
For
there's no
us,
way to
you
ever.
don't know it's coming.
Right. Well, it's horrible, but we also can't ever stop them because
No.
each one is individual. So it's not yes, they have patterns. You can predict. I love I used to love that profiler show.
Yeah.
Definitely, you can. But because they don't have that feeling, I guess I just can't identify with them more. I just feel kind of hopeless when it comes to them because they're terrifying, but there's no hope for ever solving that. I always hold that hope for saving humanity somehow with all these other things, but I know it's not going to happen.
Yes, no, and I totally understand where you're coming from because that is interesting too. Like I said, I just lean more towards this one
Yeah.
because I guess I don't understand it.
Right.
I
Well,
can
you're
understand
right.
Crimes of Passion. I can't understand this one, and
Well,
that's what makes me
yeah,
want to.
I get that.
I,
But the
you know,
problem is, I don't think you can ever, like, I don't,
no, you can't.
like, that's what, if I thought I could actually understand it if I studied it, but it's just hopeless. Whereas, when I say crimes of passion, it could be a friend, someone that knows
Oh
somebody.
yeah, no,
You
that's
know,
what I
yeah,
meant when I
yeah,
said
yeah,
relationship. I don't mean just a romantic
yeah.
relationship. I mean any
So,
relationship.
so I find it interesting how those things all, I don't know, the twists in these stories, how these all come about. So I find that interesting. And the serial killers, I find them interesting, except I feel a hopelessness because it's just so random. You're right. Like, you never really know. There's no way you're ever going to know. And I've heard that there's, like, so many out there that just never
Oh,
get caught,
there are so
and they're
many.
all buying knives on Amazon and stuff.
We shouldn't laugh, but isn't that crazy?
No, maybe they should start investigating. They should hack into Amazon and see who's buying a lot of knives and things like that.
My goodness.
I think if somebody was bragging about it, like a serial killer, I don't even know if he was ever caught. I feel like an anonymous one was bragging about how many knives and stuff he bought on Amazon. I feel like there's something, I get it all. It's all jumbled in my mind because there's so much of this stuff out there,
Right.
but I
I
know
don't know.
that I'm not sure if they were caught or not, but they were talking about how they ordered all these things on Amazon. You really can. Anyway, so that's what we're doing today. It's a whole big exhibit and it's traveling around the country. So we'll report back on it next week. And
Okay.
we have to take notes.
You know that's not good.
No, I'll take notes.
Really? Good for
Me?
you.
I take notes at a lot of exhibits and stuff. Sure.
I never do. I love going to
Well,
them.
I
but
would take, I can't, they say
do.
no cameras. Now, I don't know if that means we can't even take a picture with our cell phone or anything.
I thought there was cameras in here. I thought there just wasn't recording or flash.
Maybe. I thought it said no cameras. You could be right. Good. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
I prefer to just take pictures and then I
Yeah.
can look at it when I talk.
Okay.
I
Let's
like to
see
take
when we get
pictures of the
there.
little
Yeah.
descriptions and stuff.
Well, bring some kind of note-taking thing.
Yes.
Note-taking
It's
thing.
called
A
it's
notebook.
called a notebook. Yes. The high tech thing. Okay. So
Anyway, we should get to it. Yeah.
yes, I am going to find the thing. Let's see.
By the way, this is all a surprise to me. I have no idea what we're talking about or anything.
Yes. It's very exciting.
I mean,
Oh.
which is pretty normal, but
Right.
sometimes, most of the time I have an idea at least.
Well, I told you what kind of, foo. Hold on.
Oh, look at you. Do you know? And
Shoot.
I always call it Haitian, but that's not what you call it. Haitian Creole, whatever. Foo is crazy.
Oh, it is? Well,
Yeah, if
is
you
that why
wanna
they
say
call themselves
somebody
the
is
Foo Fighters?
crazy. I don't think so, but because my family, well, my father especially used to always go, oof, which means you're crazy.
Oh,
There was a
that's
lot of that.
interesting.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to talk about time travel stuff. So this is like our old school mini segments. We're going to try to do it fast and then be done because we have to go. Do you believe that we can reach people in other times?
I feel the same way about anything like that. You know how I am. There's a part of me that does, but I really, there's no proof of any of this, and that drives me crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
want to believe. I don't understand how people just believe in things that you can't prove.
Right. Well, it is frustrating. And it's not going to get
Yeah.
any better when I tell you these stories.
Okay,
'cause
but let's say
Yeah.
most of me believes it.
Yeah, I have some quotes. Scientists do not rule anything out. They say that this stuff could happen. But
Good.
the thing,
No, maybe not good. I don't
no,
know.
it is
I don't know
good.
what
But
you're
well,
gonna
I mean,
say.
let me just tell you. What I don't understand is if these things happen, where is the actual evidence? The second one is really, you'll see. So the first one, it was a thing called the Dodleston Messages. It's Dodleston, which is near the border of Wales in England. Okay. And something happened in 1984. This guy, Ken Webster, was living in a cottage with his girlfriend. And then they had a friend staying there too. He was a professor of economics, or not a professor, it was an economics teacher in a high school. And this was when computers weren't really owned by private people. They were owned by institutions and things. So the friend wanted to type comedy skits or something. And basically, computers were a word processor. You could type stuff, but there was no internet. Now, there were internets. So the first internet was invented, but it was only used by the government and people like that.
Right.
So he borrowed a computer from the high school, and the friend would type up her stuff. And then one day he came home and he found a file on it open, and he was like, "What's this?" And it was a weird nursery rhyme poem but kind of creepy, right? It was a very strange poem, but they just thought that the friend did it as a joke. But she said, no, I thought you did it as a joke. But it was a really creepy poem.
I want to know the creepy poem.
Yeah, it's not on here. It's not in this. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh, here we go. It says the deep yet cryptic poem talked about nightmares, fame, growth, and death, as if summing up life and death in one poem. Well, where's the poem? So annoying. Hold on. Maybe it's here.
Your word
I
for
got
it.
it.
Oh, you got it?
It's in the actual typing of the computer. Wait a minute. Okay. True are the nightmares of a person that fears. Safe are the bodies of the silent world. Turn, pretty flower, turn towards the sun, for you shall grow and sow. But the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light. Get out your bricks. Pussycat, pussycat went to London to seek fame and fortune. Faith must not be lost, for this shall be your redeemer. Is that not creepy?
I don't find that creepy.
Wow. All right. Okay. Well, then
I don't
did.
know.
I found it very kind of threatening. I don't know why.
I mean, I guess I could see that, but no, that doesn't bother me really.
Well, okay. Then you are much more chill than me. Now I have to find the original thing that I was looking at.
It's weird that nobody claimed it. That's definitely
Well,
weird.
it's also weird. You have to remember, right, in the house, because there was no way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was no email or anything then.
Yeah, that's very
So, yes. So that happened. Then they got another message, and it was from a guy that said he was in a year when King Henry VIII was king, and he was married to Anne Parr, which was his seventh wife, and so they figured out the year. He didn't come out and say that right away. He was just writing an old school, that kind of writing. And they were like, what is this? They really thought it was a joke. But then there were weird things happening in their house as well.
Oh, boy.
They kept hearing those crazy, the usual kind of things that happen with ghosts, like the banging, but their furniture. One time they came home and their furniture was all piled in the middle of the room. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard that in ghost story. I mean, you know what I mean? Stories about ghosts, furniture being piled up in the middle of a room.
What is that? Maybe they just want you to get out, because the guy said they were in his house. He said it was his cottage, and he thought they were demonic because of their he said your lights are demons' work because it was electric. I guess they surmised this. This is all stuff.
Did anybody else go boogie woogie woogie in their head? That's just me.
No, I did not.
Every time I hear someone say it's electric.
Well, then, yeah. Well, yeah. No, I was too busy in my thoughts with that. They also saw 6-toed footprints on the floor and up the wall, like a bare footprint.
Why 6 toes?
Well, that's the question. I don't know, because that's not like somebody from the past either. Like suddenly a 6, I don't know. But I'm just telling you what happened. So this is weird, right? It's just weird stuff. So the guy started communicating. He told them his name, which was Lucas, and he had various things to say. He was a teacher, and he said that he was using a light box, but he didn't call it a light box. He called it something else. It was a box that apparently is something that people use to communicate with the past or future, or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just condensing what they surmised after many messages back and forth. Okay. And they would have to leave. He only wrote to them when they weren't there, which is weird too, right? They would go to the pub and come back and they would find something or not. There were 300 messages altogether. Okay. So they said they got the box, but they said the person that gave them the box said they were in 2109. Which
what?
is a
Wait. I'm confused. What?
Okay.
Like, which one? The box? The
box
ghost
was
guy?
given the ghost. Well, he's not a ghost. He's communicating them from his life.
Right. Okay. So that guy.
But yet there are things going on that are poltergeist like. So there's two different kind of things going on. Yeah.
I'm very confused.
It is
so
confusing.
He got the box for.
Yes,
the
the
one
guy
that's
is the guy
communicating with them.
Yes, said he got the box from somebody in line, which they never named. They never gave a name or anything. And
That's how they get the box.
I guess he came there because 2109. It sounded like this was an experiment that they'd picked these people on purpose, and they were trying to. I don't know they never said what the purpose was, but it was something they were trying to do to see about reaching people in various time things. But they knew the people, but I think they were observing them. I don't know if they initially chose them, vetted them, or they just knew them once they landed there in their houses. That's all unclear. A lot of it's unclear. And I'm just like sort of compressing it into like, it was a lot more stuff.
I was just wondering how, so
the guy at 21 got the box from somebody.
From someone in 2109.
So the 21,
and now he's communicating with somebody in 1984.
Yes.
Is that where we're at?
Yes, but the 2109 sometimes communicates not to I don't know about to the Henry VIII guy, but they sent a message to him. These people in 1984 sent a message calling 2109, and then he wrote them back, or he said we. So we don't know if he's like gender neutral or many people. We don't know what's going on.
Okay.
We don't know. But he also
this
said
whole story is crazy.
It is. And the 2109 said that I forget what it's called, but there was some particle they said they were a society of this particle that turns out you exist without actual substance. So you're like so that means that I guess you could time travel a lot easier. So in other words, you wouldn't have a body. You would just be this thing that somehow
not
exists.
A soul, but a particle.
I guess there's a soul involved, but no body. They have thoughts and they have, I guess feelings. I don't know. And then I just don't remember the name of it because people say this thing's never been proven.
Wait. And is this on Earth? These particles?
Yes.
It's so this is Earth. What happens to us in 100 years is what?
I mean, possibly.
That would be where this is going.
Yes.
If they are
this was happening
on Earth. But are they on Earth? If they're just particles, do they need to be on Earth?
Well, he didn't answer that. This guy in 2109 was not very forthcoming. But he did say that at one point. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know the name of the particle, but if people want to research it, I'm sure they'll find it. I'm giving you just basically to talk to you about it, to throw it out there what you think. Now, it's weird, too, because then Debbie, which is his girlfriend, started dreaming about Lucas. She said she saw him. This part doesn't make sense to me at all, because this guy is communicating through this box. But then all of a sudden she's seeing him, like flashes of him or in the room sometimes. And then she dreamed of him. Now, one thing about me with dreams, I don't want to be mean, but when you dream of somebody, I feel like it's a dream. How can you really prove something impossible to prove? It just seems so unlikely. If you communicate with someone while you're awake, there's so much more evidence. If you're asleep, it's like, okay, I was asleep, I
don't know. I'm on the fence about that, but I'm on the fence about all of this. So
right. Well, people can be so emphatic about a dream. You can't really base all your decisions or major things on a dream because your mind. Yeah. We dream some really thing. No, people think they got a message specifically and right? It's like
that you're going to act.
Yes, I've met people like that, and I don't see how that you could. That's a dream. I mean, we dream of wacky shit. Why is it true in this one instance when clearly other stuff is just farcical? Like the OJ call. It's a farcical
every time
call.
I hear that word, that is all I can think of. There's certain words.
Why you said farcical?
No.
We're referring to a crank call by a Howard Stern listener.
It's
like the most classic OJ call. I mean, the most classic
so
crank
much
call
funnier.
Because Peter Jennings never knew that he was being pranked. And so this other guy that's a fan who works there, he's the sports guy, right? I forget his name. But he goes, just so you know, Peter, that was a totally farcical call. This is ridiculous. But anyway, so I don't know. It doesn't make sense. And she claimed that the guy kissed her in the dream. Like, I think, where is this coming from? It started just going crazy. And the guy said he wasn't really named Lucas. He had a different name. And they said they put a notebook next to the computer to see if he could write to them that way. And he did. Like, I don't know. Because they were trying to eliminate 2109. 2109 was like spying on them, right? So they wanted to eliminate 2109 knowing everything. Then they said, now, if he wrote in the note, well, they have some of these messages and stuff, but there's no way to ever prove that these people didn't write these messages. You know what I mean?
I have to say, you know what? I was with you at first, but the more this story goes on, the more I am not on the fence anymore. I think it's bullshit.
Right. Definitely. But if you're going to make it up, though, why wouldn't you make it more sense? You know what I mean? Like,
because they went off the rails.
They did.
They went too far. That's what people do. That's where they really fuck up. They just keep it going. If you're
Yeah,
going
it
to do
went on for
something
2
like
years.
that,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
just don't make it ridiculous. Don't keep going on and adding shit. That's ridiculous. That whole story is ridiculous.
I
They
agree.
went to the pub and suddenly this person.
Well, I
is-
believe that you could get message. Well, I mean,
I know,
well, I
but
don't know why the message couldn't just pop up anyway. But
if you're not there, how can you prove somebody didn't come into your house and do that?
yeah, but someone's just like waiting outside to do it. Like that's weird too. Like I
So,
don't know.
no,
But maybe
it's
I mean,
weird, but it's possible.
well, they could just be lying about the whole thing and making it
Or
up
they
because
could be lying about the whole
because
thing. They
the
could be writing
guy
the messages.
right. And some of the messages are saved and some of them aren't. Okay. And then they did contact there's a society that checks out this kind of stuff. I don't know if it's in America too, but it's in England and it's been around for a long time. And they are sympathetic to this stuff. They want to believe it, except that they mostly disprove it. You know what I mean? So they went there and they couldn't prove anything. Like they really couldn't. Oh, this is interesting. They wrote messages and then erased them so these people, Ken and Debbie, didn't know what the messages were that they sent to 2019 and to the Henry VIII guy. So they got a response from 2019 saying, but it wasn't.
You mean not 2019?
Oh no, sorry, 2109. I know there's a big difference. At first, when I read it, I thought it was 2019. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So that already happened too now, but it wasn't. That would have been more interesting, I think, actually, because I can't deal with these particle people. Like, what is that?
This whole thing is ridiculous.
I don't want to be. I'm so glad I live now and not as a particle. I don't want to be a particle. Who wants to be a particle? What are you going to do with your life?
Be okay with that.
No, I don't. And they also sounded very not care. Like, just I don't know. The future is always so friggin' bleak in all these stories, you know. So anyway, he wrote them a message back, but he didn't really answer. I don't think he answered the things they said. He just said, you are messing with something that has nothing to do with you. This is an experiment which could alter history. You have to back out. So in other words, it was
alter what they're doing could alter history.
Right. Well, did give them a message. You have free will. Basically, you can do what you want. We can't interfere and tell you what to do. They stopped hearing from the Henry VIII guy, and the Henry VIII guy apparently got arrested for witchcraft. But this I didn't believe either. He said he was arrested for using that box. But I don't believe that. I think they would have killed him right away. Then he said he was under house arrest. I don't believe that. There's no house arrest. No.
Did he have an ankle monitor?
Well, I mean, they did have house arrests like when Lafayette, this is later, but Lafayette was under house arrest at home. But if it's for something like witchcraft, they're just going to kill you. They're not going to put you under house arrest. But then the sheriff came on and said he was interested in how this worked. Yes.
Get out of here. This is just getting stupid.
But when the guy was missing, then the 2109 said, we've been watching you, and they knew all this stuff about them, and this is all an experiment, and you have to act however you see fit, but you're changing history or whatever. So they did say that. But it does sound all ridiculous. The more I tell you, I'm telling you a summary of it, it sounds absolutely idiotic. It's idiotic.
It really does. And, I mean, it sounds like a show that went on 2 seasons too long.
Yeah, maybe. And then it just ended.
It started off okay.
Right. Well, I think they shouldn't have had the stuff in their house. They should have just left it to the messages, and it didn't make sense because if the guy's just there looking at the thing, how is he in their house? And why did the thing have 6 toes? It makes no sense.
Well, yes. Why did it suddenly turn into a spirit? Why? How did he get the box, this guy? How did he get the box from 2109?
I told you, 2109 gave him the box. Well, he came there. I mean, that I don't know if I think I could believe in time travel from 2109.
I'm not saying that time travel didn't have. Actually, I am saying that. But
excuse me, it just
box just okay.
I don't
if
know.
You're in that time and this box shows up, you're gonna think that's witchcraft. It just
you're right. You're right.
What?
That's true. What made him do it?
No,
it's
that's
true.
Crazy. This is all crazy.
The guy wrote a book called The Vertical Plane about it, and everybody thinks he was trying to make money. You can still get the vertical plane, and originally it was like some ridiculous price, but now it's like $5 or something. And actually, I think you can get it on the internet for free. I think someone downloaded it on one of those free things. But there are free things that are legitimate, and I think it might be on one of them. Okay, I'm really not clear. Don't trust me on that. I don't know. If you want to look up the vertical plane, you can learn more about it. But There's this time travel novel, which I happen to know about. Jack Finney wrote it. It's called Time and Again. And the reason why I know about it, my 7th grade teacher was obsessed. Mr. Cassane, my English teacher, was obsessed with Time and Again, and he talked about it all the time. So funny enough.
Boy,
so
you
I
had
do
some
know about that.
interesting teachers.
Yes. It's funny how I remember certain things about,
You sure
like,
do.
little pieces of, well, because these people were important to me. Like
Yeah,
they were very,
I think
they
that's
were,
great.
yeah.
I'm sure they would love to know that they had such an
Maybe
impact.
I could find Mr. Cassane, but I sadly, Mrs. Israel, which is the one I always talk about, she died of cancer, so I can't, unfortunately, find her and talk to her because she really did change my life. And but he also influenced me. But it's funny because what are the odds that I know about this book? Because this is not a book I really would have read. Although I have to say, I've always been interested in that concept of jumping through time. I forget what you call it now, but there's that whole thing. But the whole idea of everything happening all at once and you can jump around in it with the strands and all that stuff, I find that very interesting. So they say that the vertical plane, some of the things in it could have been inspired by Time and Again, like they're very simple. But I mean, they're saying maybe he read Time and Again and used elements of that to formulate this thing. Because Lucas, the guy in the Henry VIII, said he was going to write a book and leave it in Oxford where it would be retrieved one day. And that seems to be something that happens in Time and Again as well. So there you go. So in the end, he wrote the book and people are divided about it. But now that I've said it in a much more simple way, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. It seems kind of ridiculous because there's no evidence, like the people that came to investigate said didn't rule it out, but they couldn't say anything really.
I
You know
don't
what I
know.
mean?
There's things about it that don't make, obviously none of it actually makes any kind of sense, but there's believable parts, but some of it is so wacky.
Yeah,
It just sounds like
it doesn't make sense. It's kind of messed up. Like there's too many different pieces that don't make sense.
exactly.
Like, how did the furniture get all piled up? The guy's back in with Henry VIII. The guy,
Right. It doesn't make sense.
no, and the
Is he a
footprints.
ghost or is he
And
just
why
from
does
another time?
right? What about this foot with the why did the 6 toes? Like,
don't
how did
know.
that? So there's an alien involved in this? Like, it doesn't make sense. You're
No.
right. So this, we could debunk everything if we just talk about it
Yes, it
like
was
fast.
entertaining though. It's an entertaining story.
But I mean, it really sucked me in. It goes to show you it's all in the presentation too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh my God. Okay. So the other one I'll tell you really fast too. All right. This other thing also involves time. Well, this is more like time viewing. It's made me think of a Viewmaster, but going back in time.
Oh my God, I loved the Viewmaster when I was a kid.
Yes, it is interesting. The Vatican is involved in this. A lot of people think that there's a lot of stuff in the basements of the Vatican, in the vaults. You must have heard this, right?
No,
Well,
I don't know anything about the Vatican, honestly. I mean, I know what it is. but
yeah. Well, there's a lot of theories about things that they're withholding from people. I personally think if they had any
Like what?
evidence about
Oh, about
apparently,
Jesus?
if you have stuff about Jesus, why not show it? Because you're trying to prove something. So I don't get that, right? That's a
What?
basic, I don't know, but they definitely have the bodies of the saints, which you can see. Like, that's not a secret. Like, they have a way.
Really?
If you take this made me want to go to the Vatican. I didn't know.
You might
Apparently,
be-
you can go on a tour and you can see. I don't think you can there's a way to see. I'm not clear on whether you're just seeing the vault and they say the saints are in there, or you can actually see. You're definitely not going to see the saints, but like where they're buried or something. I'm really not clear. But if you can actually see like where they're buried and all that, like see their graves, or like I know that in Westminster Abbey they have like a floor, and then they have the people buried under the floor, right? And you can they mark where the people are. Like John Andre is there, the guy from with Benedict Arnold, from my books.
Yeah.
So, but if it's like that, and you can actually see like some sort of marker of where these people are, I find that kind of cool. I would probably want to see that. I mean, the people really existed.
How many saints are there?
There's a lot of saints. I don't know. They're going to come marching in.
It just, I am very confused when it comes to this stuff. Like,
I think everybody's confused because honestly,
what is happening?
All Saints, wasn't that like jeans, a pair of jeans, All Saints or something?
Was
I
that?
believe that, yes, Rasan was wearing All Saints. Yes. All my fashion knowledge comes from Howard Stern as well.
Like John Barbados and all.
John
Saints.
Barbados and All Saints. That's all we know. I only know men's fashion.
And Untuck It. There's so many.
Untuck It, yes. Those sound good. Yeah, I don't know.
They
What do
look
I know?
good too. I've looked them up. I don't know why, but
That's funny.
they look nice.
They have stores now. But anyway, if you have evidence about Jesus and real stuff, why not just show it? Because that will prove your case. So it doesn't make sense. So what happened was, there's a story about this priest. He was a Benedictine priest, which I'm not really clear on what that is, but his name was Marcello Pellegrino. It's like,
Oh my.
isn't that like Pellegrino?
Isn't that a
The
water?
sparkling water, yes. Ernetti. Ernetti is his last name. So
That's some name. I like it.
he was born in 1925. He dedicated his life to Christianity, all this stuff. Yada, yada, yada. So he was brilliant with science. So they wanted him to be able to make something to amplify the voices of the choirs, get a good sound system going, I guess, in the Vatican. And he was having trouble doing that, and he prayed to his dead father, and his father answered him or something. So then he told the Pope, and the Pope, he was like his bud or something. He was able to speak directly to the Pope. And the Pope was like, well, what if it was just the sound of your father from different... This made no sense. Because I guess it's against the Catholic religion to believe that you can speak directly to spirits or something, I guess.
Yes,
because the Pope...
this was explained to me by a woman when the psychic came. It's a whole thing.
Well, you know what it is? Because they want to be the pipeline to things. If you find a direct way, they lose their income. We're their cash cows, we being the customers of the religion. Basically, anybody that belongs to a religion is a customer. They're paying for the services. Let's face the facts here, you know? And if you go to church, you're going to put money in that thing. At the least, there's a pressure. You got to put money on that plate and join the thing or whatever. So you have those ceremonies you have to pay for and all that stuff, you know?
You even have to pay for the candles that you light.
Yes. Oh my God. I know. Michael was making fun of me because I was lighting candles all over Europe when I was with Michael traveling. And he made fun of me every time I put money in the thing. And then we were in Venice, and the priest took the box and shook it. And you could hear all the money in it. Because like, see, you're a rube, you know, basically. But I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I did it for the first time when I went to St. Patrick's recently. Because I was like, I just like to try anything once pretty much. Well, not anything, but
right.
You know, I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I gave $1, and then I found out that it was $3, and I only gave $1. I did not know that.
Yeah, but they don't. What are they gonna? Isn't that suggested? I don't know. It's true.
No,
$3 for a candle is a little extreme, and they're keeping the candle. It's not like it's your candle.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. I mean, it's $1. I'm sure it does something for someone, so whatever.
I know somebody that stole the candles and gives them out to people. I'm like, wait a minute.
Like some Robin Hood.
No, he's devoutly religious. I'm like, why would you do this? If you're religious, wouldn't you be punished for stealing these candles? Yeah. Goes to show you that everybody makes
people to have them.
Yes, but if you're really of the faith, you're going to know that you've done the wrong thing. You should pay for those candles, at least, right? So everybody makes their own little belief system. That's the thing about it. You know, that's the funny thing about it. So it's all kind of OCD, if you think about it. Like prayer, ritual, all these things. It's all, I think we all need some sort of a comfort, some sort of a thing to try to show that we have some sort of control in a thing that we don't. But anyway, the Pope was like, no. You didn't talk to him. It was his voice. You communicated through time, and you were just hearing things that happened to work. But like the father said, don't you know, Zucchini, that it's me? And his father used to call him Zucchini when he was little, and nobody would know that, you know? So he knew he was talking to his father. So, but then...
But why did the Pope... It was okay to communicate with someone through time travel,
because he wasn't really communicating with them. He was hearing pieces of time from other times.
What?
Well,
why is that okay?
Because it wasn't communicating with a spirit.
Okay. All right.
And that was very important to this Pope.
But whatever.
Well, there's no communications allowed. Okay. So since he was able to do that, this guy decides, maybe I can make an instrument to go back and see things in time. And the Pope was into it because he wanted to see the crucifixion and all that stuff. Because who wouldn't want to see that? That's, glory days. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. So I wouldn't want to see that. I would not want to see that at all. So the guy supposedly commissioned 11 people besides him. And some of the names were like physicists, it was right after World War II, and there were Nazis, but it didn't matter because they were. I think it's a known fact that the U.S. did hire a Nazi sympathizer physicist because he was brilliant and everything, and they didn't care about that. I think that is known.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I would
All right.
believe that. Would you? I mean,
It's not that I don't believe it, but I am disgusted.
I mean, yes, but this happens all the time with people. Just like,
I
okay,
know.
you know,
It doesn't
yeah.
make me feel any better about it, though.
Well, it's
fucked up.
just another observation
mean,
about humanity.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is just horrifying.
Yes.
Whatever.
It is horrifying.
Okay.
So anyway, they supposedly made this thing, and it was called the chronovisor, which just reminds me of like a toy that you would get as a child. Am I wrong?
I think it's
Like a
some
Viewmaster.
Star Trek shit.
No, I don't know. Chronovisor.
Yes.
I feel like you would get that for
yes.
Christmas. You know, like I
in
think
the
Howard.
60s.
Right, Howard would have wanted that for Christmas.
Yes.
Right, because he loves all that stuff.
Definitely.
So-
the great Garloo, what was it, Garloo?
Garloo, yes. The chronovisor, and then he would be ultimately disappointed when he saw it was just a little Viewmaster thing and not, you know, that you wouldn't really be able to communicate. That would be Howard, for sure. And his father would yell at him.
Was it chrono what?
It's called the chronovisor. And his father would yell at him for wasting the money,
Yes.
for sure.
You know, his father might have had a point, but okay.
I agree. Well, but yeah, but kids, well, that's what we all get so hyped into this stuff, and we have to have it. Kids are consumers. Everybody's a freaking consumer when it comes down to it, right?
That's true.
That's my new saying. We're all consumers. And buyer beware, I would say as well. So anyway, he said it worked. He said that they started watching. They, for some reason, wanted to see a speech by Benito Mussolini. Well, they're Italian, but I mean, this guy's a jerk. You know, like, why do you want to see that?
And what year was Mussolini in power? Like,
well, it wasn't that long before. It was like
Right.
during, wasn't it? Right. But the point was, you could go to yesterday. Apparently, eventually, they got to see Jesus doing stuff and
So
getting
it took them a
crucified.
while to get
Well,
back.
Further
back.
No. The problem was they didn't know the exact year because a lot of people have different theories, but it was never really proven.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly they found it, so I don't know. They must know the year, but this is the problem here. This is where it all falls apart.
This is where it falls
no.
apart.
I'm willing
I think
to.
it
I
fell
don't know.
apart like 5 minutes ago.
First of all, yes. I mean, so it's like the idea was like a Viewmaster thing. Like you could watch it, but you couldn't change it. You couldn't communicate with them. You could just watch it, which totally falls into what the Vatican wants. They say you can't communicate with anybody, right? Like, so funny enough, it worked with what they said. So, but you know, it's funny how that happens, you know?
Isn't it?
I had a dream that God said this, you know? But anyway, I have a dream. So they had the video of the crucifixion and the Pope, they were like, oh, Pope's going to want to see this, right? Bring it to the
Wait,
Pope.
they had a video?
Well, yeah, it's a video. It's a. You watch it. Well,
Can you replay it?
Yeah, the guy said he made copies of the crucifixion and things like that, things of that nature. That's what he's okay.
What?
So the Pope initially said, "Oh, we should show this to people." Right. So if that existed, why wasn't immediately it brought to the masses? Why? You would want to prove that. You would want everybody to see it immediately, right?
I would,
especially the resurrection. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing to see, right?
Of course.
I think. So, no. So the Pope, instead of showing it to people, it's like, you know what? This is really dangerous because suddenly he cares. This is really dangerous. It could fall into the wrong hands. Like, what if somebody decides, like, you know, they could, like spies or whatever could get it and look at the Pentagon meeting from 5 minutes ago and get all this stuff, right? All this information. All of a sudden, this was foremost. I think foremost in his mind would be show everybody the resurrection. But no, in his mind, it's like, we cannot share this with anybody. You guys can't talk about how it was made. And we're dismantling it. Now, they claim they didn't destroy it. They dismantled it and put it in that vault. Okay.
Under the Vatican?
Under the Vatican. There's a vault. There's a couple of vaults.
Jesus.
There's a lot of souvenirs for Jesus, and they have a lot down there. And I mean, honestly, I do believe some of that. I definitely think they have the bodies of the saints, because the saints were real people. They were people that were sainted. So I do think that some of it is true. But this, no, because there's no freaking evidence. Okay. So this guy was really sad because it was his life's work. It didn't take him his life, but whatever. He was very into it. He was forbidden to talk about it. So I just don't, it doesn't make sense. So then he goes and meets some other priest guy, and the priest is like, oh man, everybody's just saying that the stories in the Bible are just stories to lead by example, which is actually what my minister told me at the Unitarian Church, because I was talking about how horrific the story specifically about the guy taking his kid to the top of the mountain and then was about to kill him. That kid had to be traumatized, like the worst. My dad was going to kill me because some voice told him.
I don't even know that story, honestly.
It's like one of the most famous stories. You probably heard it, but I'm telling it really badly. That guy takes his kid up to the voice. God is
What's his name?
I can't think of the guy's name. It's not Moses, but it's somebody like that.
No, I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't
The
matter.
guy takes his kid to the mountain and says, and he's going to, God's like, kill him. And then when he's about to kill him, the God's like, my bad. I was just testing you. You don't have to kill your kid. But the kid was old enough to know what was going on. So he knows that his father was going to kill him. You're supposed to be able to trust your father. Like that's, this kid is completely traumatized. That's it. But
or that night must have been awkward.
Right? If I were him, I would have left. I would have been like, later for you. I don't know what happened after that with the kid. Nobody says. But, well, maybe they do. I really can't say I'm an expert on any of this. In case you thought I was an expert. By the way, I'm talking about all this. I'm not an expert. But I told our minister, not your minister, but you met her. That's why I say our. But you were just there. Remember you came to the Seder?
I came quite a few times with you to that church.
So she's
I
our
don't know
minister.
why.
Because it was
I'm
interesting.
a go with kind of person. If you ask me to go with you, whether I believe it or not, I will go with you.
Believe
will
it
I
either,
talk
really?
shit about it the whole time?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
will
liked her.
talk so much shit, but I will go with you. And I learned many things in that church by observing.
That's right. And I didn't really believe. Sure, I didn't believe it either, really, but I wanted to believe in something. You know what I mean? And I liked it because they accept everything.
I have to say, as churches go, I think the Unitarian Church I'd probably pick that if I picked a church.
Yeah.
Because they are accepting, they do things from all different religions. It's just, I don't know.
Exactly. That's they're all encompassing. It's really lovely. I love that. So she was a lovely woman, and I was very upset about this thing about the guy with the mountain. And she goes, it's just a story. It's just a story to teach people how to behave and whatever. These aren't real things that happen. I'm like, whoa, I never heard anybody from a church or, say something like that. I thought that was pretty incredible.
I think so too. But
I know, but did you ever hear
those stories are believable?
Well, I know, but ministers usually go for it, and then when we were at the Seder, remember sitting next to her?
I remember the
And they kept saying the plague, the plague of locusts, this and that, and she would whisper in my ear, oh, that's so mean. It was very funny. I'm glad that didn't really happen because I felt so bad for the firstborn children that, it wasn't their fault.
That's
little
what
baby.
Death is about.
I don't like, and I hate that because I don't think these kids did not choose this religion. They shouldn't be put to death for anybody. Kill the adults that are killing. If there's somebody hurting other people, I'm not voting for killing anybody. I'm voting for trying to do it peacefully. But don't kill innocent children. I can't stand that.
Of course not.
Happens all the time in these things. But anyway, so the guy met another guy, and the guy was all upset about everybody thinks they're not real stories. And he goes, oh, I'm going to tell you a story. And he told him the story about the chronovisor. And the guy's like, you got to tell everybody. So somehow this guy convinced him. So for like a couple of years, Ernetti was like torn, like, should I tell? Should I not tell? And he finally told. He went to the newspapers and told them, but he wasn't producing any proof. Whatever, dude, But the Vatican did not deny it. They didn't say anything, but they took the Vatican not denying it. I think this is what the Vatican wanted because the Vatican couldn't show the stuff because it wasn't real. But by it coming out and them not denying it, people thought that they were kind of whisper, it's real. I mean, I think this is what they wanted because they had the controversy about it. They wanted some sort of belief about it, but they could not show the thing because this thing didn't exist. It's the only explanation.
Interesting. Yeah.
And this guy, Ernetti, had a picture. It was like this grainy black and white picture of Jesus. He said he did not have the video, but he had a picture of Jesus from the crucifixion. And it was just a close-up of the guy's face that you see in paintings and stuff. So it looked like a copy of a copy of a copy of a painting, right? It was absurd.
Did he have one of Bigfoot too?
No, but it was on that level, though. You could see it was... No, you could see it was Jesus, but it was totally from, it was so stupid. Anyway, there's two stories about how it ends, okay? This one story is Father Ernetti called a cousin that he was close with when he was dying. He was 68, and he was dying of something, I don't know. And he called the cousin and he confessed to the cousin that it was all a hoax, right? But nobody knows the identity of this cousin, right? Supposedly, the story is the guy came forward, but he didn't give his name. This is also very suspicious. The whole thing's very odd, right?
He didn't give his name, but nobody knew him.
You can't put your finger on the guy. The guy could have existed and made it up, or the guy could have not existed at all and somebody said it. So this just adds to the mystique. But he wrote a letter absolutely doubling down, saying it was real. But again, no proof, except for this weird photo that is not. I mean, seriously, it's just the silliest thing I've ever seen. So the story continues. Now, I think it has to be bullshit, right? Yeah, but I mean, like, it's funny. Also, supposedly he said in his confession that it was true that he had tried to make it, but he couldn't make it work. And it was just him and some students, not all these people that he said. So he named like real people, like famous people. And then he was like, no, it wasn't them. But we don't know if any of this is real. We don't know. I personally think that it was all fake. And the Vatican, I think, is into it because they want the mystique of it to continue. Because if you had a video or, whatever of proof, if you could go back and look at the crucifixion, why wouldn't you show? And I think the resurrection is the most important thing because that's the thing. I think most of us agree that Jesus existed. I don't even know why. It's not like I've done research, but I feel like he probably was a real person, right?
Probably.
But the resurrection is where it all goes south for me, So I'm not saying.
I agree.
I don't know. Like, it's just too convenient.
See all these stories. The stories are interesting, and I could see the lessons that they teach, but I don't think any of that happened.
What are the lessons, though? Because the lessons are kind of vicious.
Yeah.
I think the lessons are the lessons are obey us, or you're going to be screwed. Obey us or you're going to go to hell.
If you like science fiction movies, there's a great one with a wrestler, Roddy Piper. It's called They Live, and it's kind of about, well, it involves aliens, but it kind of is along the lines of what we've been talking about, not time travel. Well, you know what? Yeah, no. It's about these aliens that come down and they send subliminal messages, for people to consume.
So they're they're religious. But they're instead of being they're like a stand-in for that.
Yes, I don't know.
That's interesting. What's the name of it?
They Live.
Weirdly, you have spoken about this on this podcast before.
Such a good
I don't know how
so
this
campy
came up.
But
how did this come up before? It's very strange.
I don't know. I do love Roddy Piper. He was a wrestler. Okay. He was in this movie.
I'm sorry, but when you say Piper, I think of pipe cleaner. Roddy Piper.
He would wear a kilt.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I see. So he's a bagpiper. Did he have bagpipes?
No, he did not.
See, they got to go the whole way. He could smash someone on the head with the bagpipes. That would be funny.
Maybe he did. Maybe I'm just not remembering that.
That's funny. All right. They Live. I mean, I would see that maybe I will one day see that. Can you find that streaming?
I would imagine so. It's got to be somewhere.
So look for that.
It's like one of those culty movies.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I was just looking on my thing. It said you are not granted permissions for this domain because I was reading that from an article. Like, okay, what's going to happen now? Whatever. I wasn't asking domain permission. I was just reading an article on the web, sir, whatever you are. So anyway, those are the stories. So much for short. We spoke forever, but and we have to go. But I
know I have errands to run before we leave. So
yes. All right. So I will just read you my quick. Where is it now? Okay, hold on. Where is it? Okay. So Stephen Hawking said, time travel used to be thought of as just science fiction, but Einstein's general theory of relativity allows for the possibility that we could warp space-time so much that you could go off in a rocket and return before you set out. So Hawking said it could work. And
there you go.
I know. And then this other guy who is a physicist also, I never heard of him, but what do I know, right? But I looked him up and he's a physicist, Mikio Kaku, Kaku. He said, in Einstein's equation, time is a river. It speeds up, meanders, and slows down. The new wrinkle is that it can have whirlpools and fork into two rivers. So if the river of time can be bent into a pretzel, create whirlpools, and fork into two rivers, then time travel cannot be ruled out. And then he had another quote, "What we usually consider as impossible are simply engineering problems. There's no law of physics preventing them." So I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
I like those because those are believable.
Yes. Right. You got to go with the scientists. Absolutely.
Yes. And obviously we know those are brilliant people.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have any quotes?
No, I didn't know what we were talking about.
Oh, well, I never stopped you before.
Yes. No, I got nothing.
And by the way, just so people know, I think I might have put in the show notes, but we talked about Polly from the song Polly. And she did live, everybody. That was good. After absolutely being horrific to her, somehow he decided to take her out and get gas, and she escaped from the car while he was getting gas. Like, I think she convinced him that she could be trusted to go out or something. It was a whole psychological thing. And she sued. This guy already was in jail for doing this to somebody else, and they let him out early. He had a life sentence or something really long, and they let him out early, and then he did that to her. So she sued. I'm sure she got a lot of money. It doesn't make up for what happened, but they let this guy out even though they knew what he did.
Welcome to our justice system.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that is it. Next time, look forward to serial killers. All right. Au revoir.
Bye.